I'm going to start that.
Excuse me. I think I brought enough beer with me.
Recording. Sweet. All right. So when you guys are ready, where's my dog is literally laying on my script. Hold on. I'm taking my glasses off. I put fake lashes on and everything, you guys.
Aw.
Me too.
I
just put on a clean shirt and washed my ass.
I've
There
been
you go.
wearing a Shady Harbinger shirt all day, and then I changed into my Doomy shirt in Jim's honor. And
Understandable.
Doomies, of course.
Understandable.
She's gonna be here. You guys know that. In spirit.
She looks over our shop. The candle I made of her actually sits up on the mantle above the bar, and she just watches all the goings-ons.
I love it.
Yeah, every incarnation of your shop that I've been to has had the Doomy candle, like, protecting.
She was very much a cornerstone of what we're doing now.
Amen to that.
I mean, she kind of put us onto the direction of what we're supposed to be doing, you know?
Mhm.
Not, I mean, we could be shitheads, but shitheads that help out other shitheads.
Shitheads for shitheads.
Yes. She put me on like the direction for my life.
Put this bitch on mute.
Just don't be shitty. That's all.
Yes.
You don't have to be nice, just don't be a dick.
Oh, hold on a second. All right.
Oh.
Just don't be shitty.
Copy link.
So we are live now on YouTube.
Yay.
Can everybody
Huzzah.
hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, hey, douchebags, it's Eve, Jetty, and Lily. Welcome to Eve and Friends Drunken Podcast du Jour, where we talk about news, the arts, sex, horror, and your mom. Lily can be found online at shadyharbinger.com, and you can follow her at all the places at Harbinger. Lily, want to say hi to the people?
Hello, lovely people.
And Juddy doesn't want to be found, but who cares? Follow him on Twitter and IG at I am Juddy.
And you can go fuck yourself, fail at it, then cry.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Our show tonight is proudly sponsored by your little sister. Our special guest for tonight is Jim Watts of Vagabond Saints. Visit his website, www.vagabondsaints.com, and follow him on Facebook, IG, and Twitter at Vagabond Saints.
Hello, my little spider tarts.
I love spiders and tarts. All right, let's introduce the topic for tonight. COVID hates you. Running a small business in a fucking pandemic. Jim, tell us about Vagabond Saints for those listeners who may not know you.
Vagabond Saints is short for Vagabond Saints Tattoo Lounge and Spa. We are a tattoo shop / nail salon / aesthetics lounge in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I am a former American who's now been transplanted up here into Canada. We're not just the things that our shop says we are. We are pretty much a force to be reckoned with here in our community, as we do more than, you know, just sling ink and nails and eyelashes and shit. We're out there, we're helping the people, we're helping build a community, we're looking after our own and those that may not even be of our tribe. We have a big hand in being a mental health safe space through one of the hospital pilot programs here. We do a lot of work with the sex workers, and, you know, doing anything we can to help people keep their heads above water, be it our donation drives where we're gathering food for people, or the clothing drives to help keep clothes on people's backs. We've always got something going down, and it's more than just, you know, being a typical tattoo shop. I wasn't getting
All
choked
right.
up there. I had a lot of carbonated water before we started.
I have had a lot of carbonated tequila drinks. So, all right, well, let's introduce the topic for tonight. COVID hates you, running a small business in a fucking pandemic. Jim, tell us about Vagabond Saints and then like what has happened in the last 10 months for you.
Whew. What is walk us through, huh? We've been affected greatly. Now, things up here are a little different than the way things south of the border are going with all of you folks. Up here, we have our own pudding-headed fuck named Doug Ford, who is incapable of running our province. And Doug Ford, let me give you a little back history. His brother was Rob Ford, the crack-smoking mayor of Toronto.
Everybody remembers that guy.
So little Dougie got voted in pretty much the same way Trump got voted in. He was up against a woman that was for the same position of premier, which is kind of like the governor of the whole province. And she had done some things that a lot of people didn't like, involving the price of electricity, things like that. So basically, because a lot of people didn't like what she was doing, they were like, all right, we're going to go with Doug this time. Doug's a conservative. He's a Republican, basically. So Dougie gets into power, and we're like, fuck, this isn't going to be good. And then March 2020 hits, and we realize just how badly we're fucked with this guy in office. He has no idea what he's doing as a political leader, as all conservative leaders are doing right now. Trump, Bolsonaro, that other lemon-headed shit in England, Boris Johnson, and all the conservatives that are in power right now during this have just made it worse. And I'm not a left-leaning dude either. I think both parties can go fuck themselves. I don't think there should be a party system. It should be whoever is best qualified for the job.
Preach.
Okay, so before anybody calls me a fucking leftist or anything, that ain't the case. I'm not an anarchist. I just want the right person for the job, the person that wants the job that can lead us to do it. So I will bash the conservatives because being a Satanist, I don't believe in anything that these people believe in, which is make-believe people in the sky. So he gets into power, COVID hits. We're put on lockdown, and it's only supposed to be 2 weeks. It went on from March 13th until July 18th. Or no, June 18th, sorry.
That sounds familiar.
It was the worst. Now, we were fortunate to get what they called CERB. It was a subsidy given by the government to everybody that was out of work. And it paid Tanya and I each $2,000 a month. Fantastic. And I know a lot of you down in the South.
Oh, Canada.
We have gotten a grand total of 1,800 since it started.
I'm waiting for my 600 still because it's locked up in an account. I don't ever remember I don't recognize the account number. I'm like, that's not my account, but I'm happy for someone else.
I'm just glad to be essential.
Now you guys are saying, oh, Canada, this is great. I now owe Canada $14,000 because they didn't feel that I deserved it being a business owner. They sent me a letter. The CRA, the Canada Revenue Agency, which is the IRS of Canada, sent me a letter and said that my tax returns from last year really didn't qualify me to have that money, even though I own a fucking business. They didn't hit Tanya with it. They hit me with it. So, and for those who don't know, my business partner is also my wife, Tanya. So,
love Tanya.
But that's a newer development. But let's go back to March. We get hit with the news. You know, like we had been hearing rumblings that there was something happening, that there was this respiratory disease happening, and you know it was affecting parts of Asia. It was affecting Spain. It was affecting Italy, and next thing we know, it's affecting Canada. And we braced ourselves the best we could. We were trying not to spend any money. We were just socking it away in the bank. And then Doug Ford gets on the news and he says, we're putting the whole country's going into lockdown. We get on lockdown, and before we knew that they were going to be doing the CERB payment, it was the Canada Emergency Response Benefit. So before we knew that was coming, Tanya and I had like $2,000 in the business account, and like a couple hundred in our regular account.
Right.
And so I get a hold of my landlord, and I'm like, hey, bud, listen, we've been with you for almost 2 years now. We've paid our rent on time. We've never had any issues, where you've had to come down and straighten things out. I need to know what we can do right now in the ways of rent, because $2,000, if I pay my rent, that leaves us with $1,000 to live on, and we don't know for how long. And homeboy sends me back my goddamn lease and tells me, well, according to the lease, you have to pay your rent by this date, or I'm locking the building, and you have to pay what you owe on the rest of the lease to get your shit back. So I emailed back and I was like, all right, take the fucking money on the first. I don't care. So from that point on, I'm fucking raging. And I'm like, fuck this guy. He can go eat a bag of shit. I'm not going to rent from him anymore. When the lease is up in September, he can just fuck off. And I'm like, I'm going to find a new place. Now, mind you, the entire province is locked down. And Tanya's like, so you're just going to rage quit, bud? And I was like, no, we're going to, this is a time to build. This is a time to jump forward. So I realized Lily's been in that shop. Her and Dan Agan.
Yes, my homeboy.
They had been in the shop. So, and they know that it wasn't a huge shop. Like we had three booths downstairs and one booth in the little upstairs room.
It was the equivalent of a nice closet.
Yeah. I mean, it did us, it served us well.
It served its purpose for sure.
Then we definitely outgrew it. So during this shutdown, I was like, you know what? There's going to be people out of work because there are businesses that are just going to close up. There's going to be tattoo artists needing work. We need to get a better place too. We were off kind of the beaten path. These other fucking assholes, like a year prior, opened up a tattoo shop on the main thoroughfare a block away from our shop. We were across street. They were we had a main street and another one way.
Where the entrance was equivalent to an alley.
Yeah.
Like it's not a street that you just happen to drive by.
If you
have
know,
to,
you know.
Yeah. I mean, myself having to navigate Hamilton, like it was a whole bunch of like one-way streets, and this one just happened to go in front. There's no going backwards. It's just a one-way street, and then that's it.
So we needed to be bigger. We were doubling up on workstations. Like we actually had people that were scheduled in the evening that would come in and work in the same space as somebody in the morning. And we're like, you know what? We'll use this as an opportunity. And this wine bar, they decided to tell their landlords to go fuck themselves. They weren't renewing their lease. One partner had a baby and didn't want to come back. The other one didn't want to carry the business any longer. So one of their baristas was one of our clients and had told us about it. So we swooped in under the guise of a pandemic and were able to secure the lease and liquor license of this building. And that was dynamite. So we moved in August.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
We've been selling wine by the bottle. We've been selling cans of beer, and we've been selling cans of cider. Now, the only thing is, I have to spend another $1,500 to the goddamn city to allow me to crack a bottle and pour it. And they're giving me trouble because of my washrooms, which is Canadian for the shitters. But the place before us was a bar, and they were allowed to have the washrooms the way they were without remodeling. And the place before them was a bar that didn't need it remodeled. So the city's just trying to, stick a couple fingers in my pooper. And I'm like,
no loop.
But around this time, we were still, they put us into a phase system when they reopened us in June. And it was like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 1 was like just right out of lockdown. And then you built up, like a credit system. And so when we got to, we were opened at phase 2, and that was you work by appointment. You distance all the workspaces, you distance your appointments, you have, give yourself 30 minutes to disinfect the area and everything. And we were cool with that. And then we went to phase 3. I was like, let's just stay in phase 2, because that means nobody's bringing in their goddamn significant other to be like, can you move it over just a little bit that away?
Yeah.
A little
Fuck
bit.
your friends.
And I'm like, can you move your eyes a little bit? So we don't have those hanger-ons. We don't, everything is by appointment. And if somebody misses their appointment, we keep their deposit and,
Which is actually like around these parts, that's actually like typical. So anyone that like doesn't agree with that, don't get a fucking tattoo.
Exactly. So we actually liked being in this bubble where you had to make an appointment, and we arranged our schedules so that if 2 people working next to each other or have booths next to each other, they would actually stagger it so that one's working, then the other one's working. Then we don't have to worry about any distancing issues. We just don't have people next to each other. Things were going great. August rolls around, we get to move into the new place. Actually, August we spent getting the new place ready, and then we moved in September 1st. And we've been making a lot of money since the reopen too, since they opened up the economy in June. We reopened June 19th. From the 19th till I think the 31st, I think there's 31 days in June. We grossed $22,000 in basically a week.
Holy shit!
That's before the cuts.
Yeah.
The percentages, but $22,000 in business is fucking amazing, especially for what we had been pulling before. And
for any small business, that's a pretty big deal.
Well, yeah. And so then we get into the new shop, and at that point, it's me, Sophie, Tanya, Elise, Berto, Jessica the apprentice. We had this other guy there, and we had an eyelash technician. Things were going good until the next talk of the shutdown or the lockdown. They changed it into a color scheme at that point, where you were a red territory and orange, and if you were in red, you were about to get locked down. And orange was a step back. It got confusing because, again, Doug Ford and his people don't know what they're doing.
And it's not kindergarten, but
no, it's really not.
Let's put in fucking color codes,
Oh yeah, and don't get me started about the school stuff, because that's
that's a whole other show.
The person who's in charge of the COVID preparedness is a fucking lawyer. Christine Elliott is her name, and she's a goddamn lawyer, and she's in control of like getting us prepared. Yeah. The guy who's in control, like the minister of education, is some homeschooled fuck who went to a private college. He's never dealt with public schools. They have fucked up the schooling system even before the pandemic hit. But I digest. So we get into the shop. We've got all these things, and then because we were only taking appointments and working in that way, the eyelash technician decided that she couldn't handle it anymore. She was scared of getting COVID, even though none of us ever got sick. She got sick because her kid was in daycare with other kids, but she didn't get the virus. She just got regular sick. She ended up quitting and then moving into a friend's business and quitting that as well. The other guy that was with us, he ended up going to another shop thinking it was going to be greener pastures. Again, we've got
there are no green pastures.
Exactly, because
it's 28 days later, man.
Most of the sheep are afraid to go out. The sheep that will go out aren't enough to really be spreading money around. So we all hustle for our own clients. The shop, advertises for everybody in the shop, but individually, I get my own people. Tanya gets her people, Sophie, Elise, whoever.
And again, that's actually standard operating procedure for any tattoo shop. My neck of the woods.
And the one guy wasn't even from our town. He lived 25 minutes away and wasn't really using his social media. But I'm not here to bust balls or anything. I'm just showing how COVID hates us. So he ends up leaving. The eyelash girl ends up leaving. And then we are put into lockdown again. No, it wasn't right away. We kept getting threats of a lockdown from the premier, from Doug Ford. And then Hamilton, our city, actually got put on lockdown a week before the entire province did. So Toronto got it. A
Wow.
week later, we got it because they were doing it by areas. So
Mhm.
we're one of the bigger cities. It's Ottawa, Toronto, and Hamilton are the three big cities in
Mhm.
in Ontario. So we get shut down. I think it was the 20th. Yes, because December 19th, we got broken into. The night before the last fucking day that we're able to make money. I'm at home, I'm sleeping. Things had been going well. I had a good sleep schedule. I would sleep through the night. Anytime my cell phone rings after midnight, I know something's up. And I look at my phone, and sure enough, it's an 800 number. It's not a telemarketer at 1:30 in the morning. No, it's my fucking alarm company.
It's your alarm company.
So I answer, and they're like, "Hey, so your front door alarm and your motion detector were triggered. Do you want to send the cops over?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's a part of the alarm going off." So luckily, Tanya and I bought a car in November, and it made things so much easier for us than walking everywhere. So I hop in the car. I don't remember stopping at any stop signs or stoplights. I was on autopilot. I get there, there's all these fucking cops. Some fucking asshole broke in and stole my fucking cash box. Joke's on him. I don't leave money in the cash box. That's a rookie mistake. He did get all my gift cards I had just made and cut up. But so the night before we're shut down for who knows how long, some motherfucker breaks into my shop. So
So you know, some motherfucker comes in to want to cash in a gift card that they don't know the denomination of.
Oh, they also don't know what color of ink it has to be filled out in, and it has to have my signature on it. And Tanya can't even copy my signature.
Fuck that guy.
I mean, so and an update on that. I just got a call 2 weeks ago that they did arrest a suspect.
Nice. Good job, Hamilton Police.
Yes.
The guy who broke into our place last year at the other location.
You guys have been broken into a lot.
Twice.
Yeah.
Last year.
That's a lot.
Because you're that good, they're like, we have to steal their ink. I don't know what's so good about this place.
The first time that we got broken into was 2019, around the same time, November, December. It was like the end of November, beginning of December. And the dude used an axe to break through my glass door. Just
I vaguely remember you talking about that. Oh my god.
Style. Whoop whoop. But you want to know how we knew it was an axe? He left it on Tanya's workstation.
What an asshole.
Yeah. And
was he arrested?
Or an axe hole?
I just got word last week from the vintage clothing store that was across the street that also got broken into by this guy. The cops had arrested him. He just got sentenced to 6 months in jail and 2 years of probation.
Yeah, fuck you, guy.
What a dumbass.
Break into a shop with a fucking axe.
So
anyway,
we get broken into, and then the next day is the last day. I was up from 1:30 in the morning until we got home the next night at 9 p.m. because we still had a full work day of clients to finish before the hammer came down and shut us down. So then the whole next week is like the week of baby Jesus's birthday and shit. And Doug Ford gets on the news and says that he has an announcement. This is like on Monday or Tuesday, that he's shutting down the province on Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas. So all these sons of bitches are able to go to Costco and Walmart and this store and the fucking mall. So they're just spreading the fucking virus before we get shut down. It's like when you're told that you can't have alcohol after a certain time, you just start pounding it. Like, you know, it got ridiculous. So everybody got shut down. Except for Walmart, except for the big box stores, as long as they carry food items. So IKEA is closed for people going in, but they will do delivery and curbside pickup. A lot of our restaurants have switched to like, I don't know if you guys have DoorDash there. like DoorDash,
Yeah.
Skip the Dishes, whatever.
Yeah.
They are taking over doing deliveries for restaurants, raising the prices by 30% because that's how much they charge for their deliveries. And a lot of the stores that are still open are closed to the public, but they are doing online orders, curbside pickups, which is great. Except when you work in the personal services industry, like myself, and barbers, and hairstylists, and nail techs, and estheticians.
But you
So-
provide a valuable service with alcohol.
Yes.
But I don't. I mean, I can be at the shop. If I go and I turn it into a bottle shop, and people can come and pick up like that, that's just me sitting there. That's me just recouping my cost on the alcohol with a little bit of profit. It still wouldn't be enough to pay the $5,600 I have just for rent a month. That's why we have so many people working, is so we can all afford our own workspace to, keep us from working at other shitty jobs. So we've been shut down over 40 days now. I think I posted on Twitter, it was like 40, 44 days, something like that. The government, the federal government, has released all sorts of subsidies, rent subsidy, wage subsidy. It was a $40,000 loan with a 10% forgiveness. Now it's a $60,000 loan with a 20% forgiveness. So meaning you pay back $40,000, they forgive the other 20,000.
Okay.
Well, back in August, Tanya and I were talking to my accountant, and he was like, you guys should incorporate. That way you're paying yourselves. So if ever you need to, you can show that you're just employees of this entity, which is the corporation.
Right.
And we're like, cool,
Smart.
we'll do that. I became fucking Shop Daddy CEO and Tanya's the president. It put our bank account back to zero. And when they started putting in all these things to help businesses, you have to have been in business before March of 2020. Our account turned us into a brand new business, August 2020. I can't get fuck all from the federal government in any way of aid. I have a tax lawyer right now who's doing pro bono for me, who's looking into this. My accountant is looking into this. I've got a few other friends that are trying to find loopholes that to show we were a business this whole last 4 years up until this point. So that's where we're at now. I just got a small business grant for $10,000. Everybody went on this on Friday of last week. Was it last week? Yeah. No,
Yeah.
the week before, the weekend before, because my birthday was last week and this was before that.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So the grant was advertised $10,000 to $20,000. No business that I have spoken to has gotten more than $10,000. So they tell you can get upwards of $20,000, but everybody's only just getting 10 across the board. Again, kind of shitty, but I can't bitch because I just got $10,000 to hold my business over for a month and a half.
Yeah.
So I can I can pay February's rent, and I can pay, because we already have like $6,000 in the bank to begin with, just to make sure the rent was covered. Because my new landlords don't give a fuck either. They're a huge corporation that owns a lot of buildings. So I can pay February's rent. I can pay March's rent. If
Nice.
we're not in, if they let us out of lockdown before then, and because their whole thing is the numbers, but Hamilton's numbers in their media are low. The province's numbers for Hamilton are high. Doug Ford just fucked up how many vaccines they gave out because he was not counting doses, but something else, and had completely over-exaggerated the number. And then they were like, you miscounted how you did it, buddy. I think he was counting vials and not doses, or one or the other. He fucked up.
That
as he
sounds
does.
like something I would do.
He's
And
counting bumps of cocaine.
yeah, and we're not getting a lot of vaccines. The number that we're supposed to come up here has been diminished by another 1 million. And of course, conservative assholes blaming Justin Trudeau, who's the prime minister. The prime minister is saying that's not the case. I stay out of it because I'm more worried about my table and my area than listening to fucking politicians go back and forth. So that's where we're at now. Just hoping and waiting that we can reopen, because no personal service setting in our city, or even in Ontario for that matter, had any outbreaks. No tattoo shops, no barber shops, no hair salons. It was a few Costco's. It was an IKEA. It was a fucking spin class here in Hamilton that was owned by a doctor.
Essential.
So, yeah. So right now I am in the middle of starting up a Hamilton small business solidarity group where we are going to come together as one voice, because small businesses here, small businesses in the United States, small businesses wherever, mostly in the free world or in the first world, are the economy. Every small business pays their taxes. Every corporation gets fucking loopholes and tax breaks and tax cuts. They don't pay. If you shut down all of our businesses and rely on Amazon, Costco, the corporation that owns Walmart, all these big, huge companies aren't paying enough taxes for the infrastructure and roads, for education, for anything. And that's here, and that's in the United States as well.
And confirm.
And so by us being shut down, that's money that's not going back into our local economy, our provincial economy, or our federal economy, or global economy, if you want to look at that, because our gross domestic product has shrunk because nobody's able to go to work. And that fuckhead Ford also took away sick days when he came into office. That businesses don't have to offer sick days. Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, that's heavy.
He also fought against teachers unions and then shrunk all their classes, and now he's calling them heroes for what they've been doing, trying to get education going and stuff.
What?
Yeah, it's a
that
fuck
is some
show
double
up here.
speak from like 1984.
Oh, they tried to put the sex education curriculum back to 1995, where it doesn't mention gays and lesbians and transgenders and non-binaries. None of that. It's all just man,
LGBTQI plus does not exist.
Out the window.
They put, because they're conservatives. Their fucking make-believe Jesus bullshit is interfering in the state, and you have to keep state and church separate. There should be no religious doctrines that are brought in on any fucking bill, law, or any sort of legislation. It should just be, okay. It shouldn't be, oh, no, Jesus, he said, do not kill. No, you just don't kill a motherfucker for the sake of taking their goddamn life. You know?
Well,
Abortion.
hold on. I saw Full Metal Jacket, and clearly it said that Jesus said to kill.
No.
Not in Canada.
Jesus didn't say shit because Jesus didn't exist. Any book that starts off with a fucking talking snake, if it's not the Jungle Book, I don't give a shit.
my name is Eve, so be careful where you tread on me.
No,
or don't.
We all know where to tread.
All right, so Jim, so if you like you as an I'll call it an artist, but you're more than that. But you as an artist, if you were to have to draw COVID, like somebody's like, oh, I want a COVID tattoo, or dealer's choice. What is your COVID drawing?
Oh, it would be the sphere, but instead of having all those little suction cup looking things that are on it, it'll just be dicks, because it's fucking us from every angle.
Can you do every other one as a dick and another one's a middle finger?
Yes, I could even throw buttholes in there.
We're planning Judy's tattoo right now.
You're speaking my language now that you said butthole.
I'll pay for it if you get it, Judy.
only if it's like a 2-foot diameter across my entire back.
Oh yeah,
I want it on my forehead.
Oh,
like the sun on Henry Rollins' back.
Yeah.
But
I was
COVID
gonna
with
say
dicks and
Bradley
buttholes.
on Sublime's back, but maybe too soon. I don't know. I don't give a fuck.
I just was a living example.
Yep. So okay. So previously you mentioned the shop daddy thing. So I have personally been to Vagabond Saints in several incarnations and businesses. And of course, the majority of the people that work there are females. So, how the hell did Shop Daddy come up? Because I love that name. I see how some people could find it offensive, but fuck you. But Shop Daddy, tell me about Shop Daddy.
Okay, well, we'll start off first. Shop Daddy's not offensive. Nobody has had a problem with it. Well, there is one person, but that's because of the origin. But nobody has had a problem with it because of us being involved with the LGBTQ, Two-Spirit, IA+. Up here, we have to have Two-Spirit because of the indigenous people. No one has a problem with it because you have leather daddies and you have all the cool moms that are like, oh my God, dad bod. I want to call him daddy and he can spank me. Like, and it was a play on that. But the joke started is I'm recently 45. Tanya is 33. And Berto's 45 or 44. I just
Wow, he's that old. I had no idea.
Berto turned 44 in December. We're both born in 76, but I'm in January, he's in December. So by the time the little bastard catches up with me in age, it's January again. And he respects his elder.
He better, that bitch.
Okay, so Shop Daddy. So I'm 45, Tanya's 33, Berto's 44. But Sophie, who shares a birthday with me, just turned 24. Nicole, our receptionist, is, I think she just turned 27. Diana, my apprentice, is 26. Jessica, the apprentice, is 26. So pretty much everybody that's been there is younger. So this whole, the whole daddy business. So one day, I'd helped Sophie out with something, and she was like, "Oh, you're like the shop parent." I'm like, "I'm shop daddy," and she was like, "Ew, don't say that," because she's young and woke, and she's like, "Ew, don't say that." Well, I made a couple posts about it just to irritate her, just to really. And I love,
and
Sophie
that's why we're friends.
And I just did it to. I basically went Rick. I was like, let's just fucking flog the shit out of this horse.
Great reference. Great reference.
I will let you know I love the shit out of Rick.
I love Rick.
He's one of those people that you would not expect to be so full of love and knowledge. Like, he is amazing to listen to when he's not singing in his goddamn truck back in the day, sucking on candy canes and talking about, soft titty Twitter.
For those listening, guy. Rick is Sycophant, who used to have like a pretty...
And he's a fucking asshole. Fuck you, Sycophant. Just like I said last time, you fucking cunt.
Rick, now that ham-headed bastard is an asshole. But he has been nothing but just gregariously enigmatic with me. He lived up here for a short bit and was only about half an hour away from me. Like, he came to visit the shop. He's helped out with donation drives, bringing in food and clothing, dog food for people that had dogs that were, having food insecurities. So I can never say a bad word about the guy because I've seen the other side of him, and I know he's going to hate me for saying this, but I love.
Oh, he's still a dick.
Immensely.
I've seen the other side of him.
He's totally a dick. But
the side of him in the most literal way. He's been on this couch. He sat where I'm sitting. I'll say that.
Yes, we have all been in the same room together.
So back to Shop Daddy.
Shop Daddy.
So
that's what I want to know about.
I wanted to wreck this with her, just to fucking watch her cringe. And so I made a couple Facebook posts, a little Instagram posts, and like, Shop Daddy's available, all day today. My schedule's open, and Sophie just cringes and cringes. Next thing I know, friends of the shop are calling. Sophie's like, Vagabond Saints, Sophie, and they're like, "Hey, is Shop Daddy available?" And she's like, "Oh,
yes, yes."
Now, and so one of our business management media people, Andrea, just stayed on top of it. And when I got the business incorporated, it became Shop Daddy CEO. And so anytime I mentioned Shop Daddy or CEO, every time I mentioned CEO, Andrea would go and correct me and be like, Shop Daddy, the CEO.
Yeah.
So it's stuck.
It's like GoDaddy, but it's Shop Daddy.
Oh no, not even like GoDaddy, because they screw people
So
over.
don't
I look out for my
GoDaddy.
people. No, I GoDaddy with my website, and it's
He
been.
said daddy, but for the
I
shop.
look after my girls. I don't let. I've had dudes come in there and say some snarky ass shit, and I'm like, you don't talk to my fucking girls that way. I look. It's my shop, and these are my people.
Headmaster pimp.
I'm shop daddy. I look after everybody. You know, this whole pandemic lockdown that we've been through, I at least once a week text all of my people, and I'm like, how are you doing mentally? Like, where are you at? Is there anything you need? Because now that I've got the car, I've taken Birdo to go grocery shopping. My friend Kat, before the lockdown, we were allowed to have one person in our bubble outside of our home, and it was her because she lives alone. And like, we had her over for Canadian Thanksgiving. We were going to have her over for Christmas, but she's a social worker at the YWCA, and those people kind of are free range in their lifestyle, the residents. So she thought that she had caught COVID from a coworker who had it. She gets tested every week. She didn't have it, but now we're not allowed to have anybody from outside of our homes with us. We can't go see my in-laws. We can't really visit anybody. So what I do is I drive around, and, you know, if somebody needs something, like, I'll be like, hey, I got the car. I'm out and about. What do you need? But I check in with all my girls. Sophie just got a Volkswagen bug, not too long ago, so she can take care of herself. The poor kid. Okay, so this poor kid, like, she has
had
come
a
up so
dragonfly
much.
in her bathroom.
What? No.
No, I was just playing off of Lily's laugh when you said bug, and the dragonfly was what I came up with.
Gotcha. So Sophie, back in October, looked really bad. She had gone through a breakup, and, like, then getting back into the relationship thing. And she just wasn't looking good. And we thought maybe it had to do with the breakup. And it turns out she was in ketoacidosis for 2 months. She's 23, 85 pounds, and diabetic type 2. So this poor
dude, I can't even tell her to eat a donut. 85 pounds, I can't even tell her to eat a donut.
No, you can give her a keto bar, and that's about it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude, it was brutal. Like, she's always been under 100 pounds. She's just a tiny girl, and she's lovely. Absolutely,
I've seen her.
lovely.
She's like this big around, bless her.
Yeah, well, a number 2 pencil was thicker than her, and so she went to the doctor to find, like, have blood work done to find out, like, why she was losing weight and not feeling well all the time. And then, like, 11 o'clock at night, the doctor calls her mom, and she's like, get Sophie to the emergency room now. And she got put in the hospital for almost a week, and now she's on insulin and watching what she eats and everything. And I feel so bad for her.
Just for even making fun of anything. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, we make fun of Wilfred Brimley all the time.
Beatus.
But she's doing really good with it. But, you know, I still,
I'm glad.
On her birthday, I went to her house on her birthday. I bought her a record and just made sure that she was good, and she's doing art. She's looking a hell of a lot better. Like, her face is filling out again, and so but
she's up to a whole 90 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh, stop it! 190 pounds.
Before lockdown, she was out with a personal trainer trying to, like, get herself a butt, which, you know, good for her.
You can have some of mine.
But I look after my crew, and it's just, I'm never going to have kids. I'm not passing on what I know to, you know, any, you know, mistakes I might make. But I've got these kids, and, you know, they count on me to keep the doors open, and, you know, I'm going to make sure mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever they need from me, I'm there for them. And you know, now Shop Daddy started as a joke, but now it's kind of a way of life. And Sophie still will mention every once in a while. She's like, I fucking hate that, but she understands that now it's a way of life. I might get it tattooed on me.
You should.
And if you do, I want to be there for that. I really do.
Has to be some pink in it.
I feel like I should be there for that.
Black, pink, and brown. Some white on the accent.
Shop Daddy.
So that
But then,
is
like, you
the
have to put
long
Judy
version of the
right
answer.
underneath, but like, take one of the D's out, so it says Judy.
Oh, Judy.
Judy.
All right.
Judy.
So I do have another question, and it is something that everyone here at least has done, so we're all familiar with.
Sounds
Okay.
important.
Yeah. So, what's funnier, shaking a baby or kicking a puppy?
Shaking a baby. Shaking a baby.
Right? Because fuck humans, right?
I
Fuck
fucking love shaking a
humans!
baby. Shaking a
God
baby
bless
is so much
Harbinger.
funnier.
Yeah, right. Definitely drink right there. Yep.
Yep. Drink.
But real quick, Judy, I wanted to say thank you for what you've been doing. I see your tweets, and especially when the pandemic first started, like getting its first rise, man, I really respect what you were putting out there. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. Genuinely, I really love the stance that you took with people, letting them know this shit's for real. Kudos to you, man. I've been wanting to say it for a while. I got the chance in person to do it, so you can see it from my face. I'm not fucking around.
Amen.
You're
No,
the real deal, man. Thank you.
So I genuinely appreciate that. And, I mean, we're all, we all kind of have this, alternate side of ourselves, right? That we've always put out there for really purely just for amusement purposes, right? But if you follow somebody long enough, and you can start to learn, what's kind of a real thing versus what's a joke thing, right? And one of the things that I felt during this is, I've been working in healthcare for over a decade. My mother's been in healthcare for over 30 years. And I actually do some work with the same hospital that she works at.
Right on.
I've always felt ever since the beginning, you can always see that, I put out those today's update tweets, right? Or whatever it is. And it's like, hey, those are just like, I really don't care what you think about this politically, right? Like, this is not this tweet has nothing to do with anything about that. Here are simple facts from a single location that I'm at today. You can take those, and you have no idea. I mean, well, we all have an idea of this, but like the number of people that would reply to you that would either not believe you or would question the numbers or would just do, they would just be trying to look for something to invalidate the tweet itself. And, and it was just simply, hey, listen, you can, 99.9% of them I never replied to, because oftentimes I was coming out of a work day and I was exhausted. I was fucking tired.
No shit.
I'm like, I don't got fucking time for fuck you people. All right. Fuck you people. And like, I don't got time. I just came out, doing a 12-hour shift or whatever it was, over time, you see people die, and you see, I've spent way too many hours in my life next to essentially cadavers. And for a lot of people, they just don't know. They don't know what that's like. They don't know. It's like, hey, we're doing whatever we're doing in the medical community, but I'm sitting next to it's either a dead pig, because the anatomy is the most close to a human, or a dead human, right? We're in transplants, we're in level 1 traumas, we're in all these things. And it's like, hey, cool, like, thanks,
thanks for your opinion.
Older person who's home by themselves, a nerdy video game kid that lives in his mother's basement, IT person, blah blah. It doesn't matter who it's from. Just thanks. And at one point, I really kind of got a little fed up about it, because I was tweeting, "Hey, these are the things that I'm seeing as reported by the hospital that I'm at today." And at one point, I got a little pissed off, and I was just like, and I sent a tweet. I'm like, thank you to everyone who doesn't work at hospitals for telling me how hospitals work right now. I really, really appreciate the support at this time, because, that's clearly, more than I do. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and that's just a giant fuck you. You know, like it's a very, very, you know, it's what I do for a living, and I enjoy what I do for a living, just like Jim, just like you do. You enjoy, like, you know, that's, you're like, come on, you want to defend what you do. If you love what you do, you want to defend what you do.
Understandable.
So I,
Oh, yeah.
you know, thank you for bringing that up, and I really, really, actually, you know, genuinely appreciate it.
I used to be a PSW, so I know to some degree. Sorry, CNA. Up here they call them PSWs. In my later seasons, like, you know, the wintertime, I would actually work when I was in the States as a CNA in nursing homes and in some hospitals.
Wow,
So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Back when I was in Rome, New York, and so I understand just from that level, it's got to be a hell of a lot more hectic in a hospital. So that's why I have nothing but respect for the hospital staffs. You know, even going down to as low as the janitor and the cleaning crews that, you know.
You know what's really you know what's a fucked up
still...
story? A fucked up story, real quick, is one of the hospitals I was working at. This was, I don't know, call it maybe June-ish, give or take a month or whatever. One of the janitorial staff was caught by the hospital police, who's at this hospital as part of the state, so it was actually state police. Was caught leaving the hospital with 2 trash bags full of PPE that they were trying to steal.
Really?
Oh, wow.
And it literally was walking out with 2 trash bags under the guise of, I'm a janitor.
Oh my God.
They open up the
Wow.
bag. They open up the bags, and it's filled with N95 masks, face shields, you know, all this other stuff. And needless to say, that person no longer works there.
Yeah,
And
no
talk
shit.
about, talk about people who can go fuck. Talk about people who can go fuck themselves. That
Yeah.
person can go fuck themselves.
Absolutely. Holy shit.
Up here, I'm thankful that we're not working right now, because gloves are $75 a box right now through the tattoo supply companies.
God.
And you're
That
only
is
getting 50
price
gloves.
gouging.
No shit. That is price
It's not
gouging.
so much. Well, it's also there's hardly any gloves. Like, these companies are trying, like the people that we get our gloves from are trying to make their money on what they have. You know, if you have 1,000 boxes that you can sell for, you know, $20 a piece, then that's, you know, $20,000. But if you only have 10 boxes, you have to raise the price so that your company is making its money that it needs to pay its employees and whatnot. Because a lot of these aren't, you know, huge corporations that we're dealing with. And so I'm very thankful right now, because most of us in the shop wear a medium or a large. Sophie, that poor girl, wears an extra small. And so
I feel the pain.
just before this new lockdown, she went to go buy gloves, and she paid $75 a box.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah. And so, yeah, like, we were most of the time, like, you'll do the outline, you'll let the customer have a break, you'll take off your gloves, stretch your fingers for a sec, you know, run into the bar, grab something to drink, come back. By into the bar, I mean like soda, water, juice, because, you know, I don't let anybody drink on the job. And but yeah, it got to the point where I'm just like, go have a cigarette. I'll be sitting here when you get back. Like, I could not waste a pair of gloves. It was ridiculous. And I know when we get back from this, and I understand the shortage is because the hospitals and frontline workers, they need them. Absolutely. I'm not bitching at all. I am thankful that the lockdown's in place for that reason, because we could go through $1,000 in gloves easily in a month at that price. And I don't qualify for any of the subsidies for PPE. So, and the other thing that sucks is we had to get face shields. That was another stupid thing that they threw in. I'm not saying it's stupid because, you know, just for the sake of calling it stupid.
It's necessary, but still, it's an extra expense you weren't budgeted for.
We were just wearing regular, like, our masks. Like, we all have our own, like, washable masks and everything. But then they dug for it. All of a sudden, the week before we get locked down, he's like, oh, now you got everybody in personal services has to wear a face shield. But nobody in personal services had caught COVID. So there had to have been something going on where we didn't need a face shield. He felt it was necessary. So now we're wearing face shields. My glasses fog up because of the mask. Now I'm inside of a face shield that's fogging up, and I'm tattooing. And Tanya, she's doing nails and like the same thing. She wears glasses. So, and I spent close to $100 just to get everybody a face shield from the store. And I'm like, God damn, like, and it was unnecessary. You know, I wear glasses. So for some reason, the Department of Health thinks that when you tattoo people that blood and plasma just sprays everywhere in an aerosol.
It doesn't?
It doesn't. It doesn't. Our
I
health
spray in
department,
an
man.
aerosol, but I actually don't spray.
I know from experience from you tattooing me that blood and plasma does not spray everywhere. It's okay. It's fine, people. It's fine.
Yeah. But the health department up here is weird. Nobody that's on the health department has worked in tattooing. And so they come in and they're like, oh, oh.
She's out of alcohol.
I'm out.
Jody, help Lily.
Lily, is
She's
that
out of
wiener dog there?
alcohol.
Well, that sounds like a personal responsibility problem.
It is, but what is your advice
you, Judy.
for Lily for being? Is this sponsored by saucy.com?
Well, so what is my advice? My advice is to Boy Scout and Girl Scout next time. Be prepared. And
I thought I was.
and my other advice is clearly you need to contact your fucking sponsors because they are shorting you on the necessary ingredients.
I thought you were my sponsor, you bitch.
I would be the greatest sponsor.
I
just keep doing it.
I just
keep
hear
doing
myself a little
Doing
bit
it.
laughing.
Done.
So, Jim, what advice do you have for anyone thinking about launching a small business right now?
Don't. It'll be the worst thing you've ever done right now. As much as I would be like, yeah, fucking go out there and take what's yours and fight the system and fuck the man and do what you got to do. Not during this, man. And being legitimate and having changed, you know, from a partnership into a recognized corporation, I fucked myself hard. They were like, "Oh, incorporated will protect you and Tanya and your assets."
Do you have video of you fucking yourself hard by any chance?
Only on our OnlyFans.
God damn
There
it!
you go. There you go. Yeah, so but during prior to this, during normal times, what would your your advice be to somebody who wants to start one?
Anybody that wants to start a business.
What are a couple of things, like if you were to give somebody just a tip or two?
Like if COVID wasn't a thing.
Just a tip. Just a tip, like in the ass,
We're gonna forget COVID exists.
Yeah.
Wear a condom while you answer.
When without COVID, like say it was 2018, I would be like, get the fuck out there and mark your claim. Do whatever you've got to do to achieve this dream of yours and make it happen. Everybody should work for themselves if they want to. Like if you have a reason to work for yourself and you can do it, fucking do it. If you have skills that are, that a boss is going to pay you for and you're comfortable with that, do that. Like, but if you want to, like if someone's watching right now and they're like, oh, I'm thinking about starting a business, do it. Just not during a pandemic. I am so pro self-employment. I've worked so many jobs. I was thinking about it last week on my birthday, like all the fucked up jobs I've had. I lived in Texas for a bit and I sold doors door to door in Dallas. And that was awful. That's how I learned some Spanish. And I have worked in my first job was in picking up dead Holstein cows and taking them back. And I'm like 13 at this time, taking them back to this place where Mexican immigrant workers would strip the leather and the meat and the bones, and it was used for like chicken feed.
Okay, so when I was 13, I was peeling carrots so that fucking rich people could have carrot juice in the fucking health shop next to my parents' backpacking store.
There you go. So when I was 13, I was cutting brick for a landscaping construction company, and then shortly after that, I worked at a pawn shop where I got fired from a pawn shop. I got fucking fired from a fucking pawn shop.
You did.
Of course you did.
Because you wanted mustard with it.
listen, if people, just like Jim, like, you work fucked up crazy shit, and then like you actually, grab life by the fucking stew nods and make something of yourself. Like, I went from getting fired from a pawn shop to working, where I work now, and it like you actually, when the shit is down, like you can actually turn it around. But
Oh yeah.
it doesn't come fucking easy. Jim will tell you, it doesn't come fucking easy. Nobody's gonna
Not at
fucking
all.
walk into the fucking door and be like, "Here you go. Here's your fucking life." And if I set it all up for you. Like, fuck that. Like, you gotta fucking do the shit for yourself.
Oh,
You
no
gotta,
doubt.
right? I mean,
Yeah, and Jim is the perfect example of like, I have this dream. I want to do this fucking thing. I'm going to fucking do this thing. Fuck everyone who tells me I can't do this thing, because I'm going to show each and every fucking one of you that I can do this thing.
Fuck
And
yeah.
that is
why?
100% why I love you and I love Tanya so much. You guys are fucking family to me.
You want to know why Vagabond Saints came to be?
Yes.
Honestly,
Do
I didn't
tell.
want to be in anybody else's fucking shop and having to listen to Disturbed play over the speakers.
Hashtag blessed.
I fucking hated, like, I worked in 2000 at Hot Topic in Arlington, Texas,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was
Sorry,
the
I
only
just
job I could
I
get.
just had like internal cringes going on that like kind of. Okay, continue.
And I just came a
In my-
little bit, so go ahead.
In my own defense, it was the only job I could get at the time, and I started there on the 9/11.
No
wow.
way. Okay, now I
wow.
just really
Yeah.
came.
My first day of work was at Hot Topic on the 9/11. I'm in Arlington, Texas. And so, like, I show up to work and I'm like, "Hey guys, I'm here to sell cool shit to stupid people." And they were like, "Sorry, man, the mall's closed." I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "Didn't you hear?" I was like, "Hear what?" They're like, "We're under attack." And I was like, "What?" So I went down and hung out with my buddy that worked at Sears, and we're watching on the TV. And I was like, "God damn, I'm supposed to be, starting work today." I already had a fucked up situation going on in my life. Like, I was homeless. My girlfriend had gotten us kicked out of our place. It was just a weird thing. I'm not going to get into it here. But yeah, I worked at Hot Topic, and they were the only place that would hire me because of my tattoos. And straight up, like, I had to listen to the most dog shit of fucking radio rock music while being told by fucking 16-year-olds, "You're a fucking poser, man." And I'm like, "You're wearing the same fucking shit as 3 other kids in this store. Go fuck yourself." And then, I get written up for telling a customer to go fuck themselves.
Mhm.
We had kids that were pissing their pants because they were on a fifth of vodka dancing in the store and all fucked up. And I just didn't want to do that anymore. And I was already tattooing by then. I've been tattooing since I was 16. And I've worked, under the table. I've worked, in my fucking living room. I've done all the incarnations of an old school tattoo artist. I didn't get to come up in the internet age where I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to go to Amazon and order me a gun." It's a machine, dickhead. And then they watch the TV shows. They fucking can go on Instagram and see what other people are doing. And there's YouTube channels that show people how to tattoo. And I'm like, I got my ass beat by the guy who mentored me. He's like, that rose looks like shit. Get up. Hit me in the head. I'd have to go clean the shop again that I had just cleaned, but apparently it was still dirty. And it was ridiculous. But I didn't want to work for anyone else ever again. And coming up here, it was, being with Tanya, I was like, I got to make a life worthwhile for her. And her being a nail tech, me being a tattoo artist, it made sense to combine the two, which hadn't been done in our city. Most of the shops here have a fucking barber, and that's gross. I had a shop in upstate New York called Mutiny Inc. We called it that because we were right next door to the shop that the 3 of us quit from. The guy had a lazy eye and was a really conceited asshole who didn't know how to tattoo. And his mom bought the shop with her karaoke business money. And so we all quit and went right next door, literally next door, like knock, 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 knock. And it was run by his ex-girlfriend who had broken off their engagement months prior. And she was a barber who did with like the razor cuts. There was always fucking hair shavings everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I vowed never to have a goddamn haircut person in our shop, barber or razor cutter or whatever they are. So, but all the shops here have them. Like, it's like, "Oh, we're not really good at tattooing, so let's bring in a barber and keep our rent paid."
Yeah.
I brought in
That sounds really
estheticians,
weird to me.
Yeah, well, I brought in, Tanya. had to bring her in. She, my wife and business
I mean,
partner.
she's the wife, so it's like, okay, honey, you can do
I'm not
nails.
paying.
So can I say the fact that you are a husband and you are happily married, I feel like we have an immediate connection just on that level and are in the extreme fucking minority when it comes to some of the the more often than not the online personalities that actually kind of recede a little bit into the real person, right? I feel it's kind of, I remember first starting out and being a happily married person that would tweet like, guess what? I just fucked my wife. Ha ha, you fucking losers. Like, it was weird because
I'll fuck your
your
wife.
All of
audience,
your wives.
right? Like your audience are people who have mostly, but are fucking, relationship wise miserable. But a lot of people. That's a gross generalization, but you know what I'm saying here, right? Like
it's not gross at all. It's perfect.
So, but like Jim, like did you feel that kind of thing? And like like where I'm going here, right? Like what are your thoughts on that?
I have no problem like being on this side of the fence, being the minority, because back when I was Reverend Grimm, I never even tweeted about my wife. I never, because
that is
old school Twitter. Yeah.
Holy
I was Reverend
shit.
Grimm.
Okay, I didn't even know that.
You didn't know that.
You
were in Tits of Anarchy and you didn't know that?
No. I was like fourth generation Tits of Anarchy. I was brought in after
you came in as I left.
Yes.
Yeah, when Tits of Anarchy got to that point where there was a lot of racism and homophobia and stuff, I was like, guys, I can't do this anymore.
That's
and
why I was brought in by Vile Child to try to right the whole situation.
Yeah, I left from that. And that wasn't my game anyways. I tweeted horrible shit like everybody. I tweeted about fucking my grandma,
Me too.
I tweeted about not being molested
because it's
enough.
glorious. It's glorious.
It's funny.
I mean, I'd fuck my grandma.
But
she's dead,
but
so I'd still fuck her.
Too.
Even better if she's dead.
See,
Juddy,
there you go. You get me.
And that was when Vagabond Saints started to take some headway. I had done the T-shirts for Do Me. I redid the HoboCast logo. I was doing all these things, and my business was becoming legitimate. And I was like, you know what? I can't have the vile little pervert that I'm pretending to be. Well, the vile little pervert that I'm portraying to get intertwined with this business.
That's a great distinction.
At the time, like when Vagabond Saints, Vagabond Saints has been around a lot longer than 4 years, because I started when I was in New York back in 2010, and no, even before that was like 2009, 2008, somewhere in there. But when I moved up here, I was waiting for permanent residency. I couldn't legally work here, but I could run a company out of the United States from my New York address while I printed T-shirts in Canada. Just like a businessman from Wisconsin can come here on his laptop and do work. I was working out of New York. My bank was in New York. My shipping address was out of New York. So everything was good. So I was like, as the business was taking speed, I couldn't have, this fun side of me, this Reverend Grimm, I couldn't have that get doxxed or anything like that. So I just said my goodbyes, shut down the account. And since then on Twitter, on my Mr. Jim Watts account, I'm just me. I can still, even though I'm followed by local politicians that I rub elbows with and the community groups and stuff, I can't, be that side of Twitter anymore. But then again, that side of Twitter is kind of dead to me. Just after the Trump election, I realized a lot of these people were not fucking joking. So I'm just myself, and there's a lot of things I would love to say on Twitter still, but I can't because, of the real world tie-ins. But being married, like I work with her. I'm at home with her. I'm around her 24 hours a day. And we don't fight. We don't really bicker. If something pisses us off, we're open about it. And we're like, hey, that's pretty fucked up. And like, I'm sorry. And then
hang on. Don't blow people's minds. Okay. Don't give them the secret sauce, bro. All right, like thinking,
Yeah.
talking, and communicating is
In a marriage? What the fuck?
Is this
In America, what the fuck?
It's this foreign fucking concept that's like you say that to somebody and they look at you like you're fucking alien, and you're like,
it's weird.
Listen, if you had all the right answers,
a little bit.
if you had all the right answers, perhaps you wouldn't be. Perhaps you would be married and and happy and everything else.
There's a reason I have never been married.
I mean,
now see,
it's not that
being
hard.
Married is rad.
Jim, you know this. Jim, you know this as a husband. It's not that hard. It's
It isn't.
It's the
you keep
proverbial.
Them fed, you keep them watered.
I was gonna say it's the proverbial yes dear. Right? Yes dear.
Yes
it's
dear.
not even.
You just
it's not even.
You just do it. Like you just okay. There's a problem. Okay, you fix it. Next. Like
but the whole yes dear thing, neither of us are that way.
Nice.
Like I said, proverbial.
Even proverbial. It's the whole thing is she'll be like, hey, can you go do this for me? And if I want to do it, I'll do it. If I don't, I'll give her a reason why I don't want to do it. If she finds it valid, cool. If not, then she'll explain why it needs to be done by me. But
my wife just said, you never know unless you ask. And I'm like, exactly. Like,
That's
right?
kind
Like,
of my deal.
And as my podcast husband, I can confirm all of these things.
right. So
Harbinger
has talked to wifey, and they both. I'm pretty sure Harbinger is just waiting for me to die so she can marry wifey. So that's where I'm at.
I think
100%. I've told her as much.
Lily, you stated, that you don't want to get married, and that's cool. I don't want to have kids. You don't want to get married. That's, but when Tanya and I met, we realized that we did want to get married. Like we'd only been dating over a year, and we were like, this is where it needs to go. We both felt that way. We talked about everything. Neither of us want kids. Neither of us really like kids that other people have. There's a few. But like we also have views on non-monogamy. Like we know that the secret to not cheating on people is don't make yourself monogamous. Like humans are animals. They shouldn't have been monogamous to begin with, but you give respect. So like say if there was an opportunity for me to go and plow some trim, I'll be like, Tanya, this person is throwing the pussy at me. What do you think? And she'll be like, I think she's horrible. Don't touch her. And I'll be like, cool, I won't. This is all hypothetical. And, but if I was like, oh, I met fucking Rachel McAdams. She's Canadian. I'll be like, met Rachel McAdams. I kind of want to throw a finger in her. And Tanya would be like, go for it. Like, if you keep things open, if she was like, oh, I want to lick John Hamm's ding dong through his track pants. That's
buddy.
I don't own her. Lily, have you looked up John Hamm track pants?
I did. The last time I was actually in a Vagabond Saints shop. Tanya was like, no, you do not understand. Open your phone right now. We're going to put this in the search bar and look at it. So yes.
Tanya is back here, the room back here. And I said, lick John Hamm's ding dong through his sweatpants. And she's like,
what'd you say?
She's like, I don't eat.
She's like, I'll take two. I'll take two.
Tanya's like, I don't eat pork, but I will eat a ham.
There you go. Giggity. All right.
She doesn't eat. She's not Jewish or anything. She just does. She likes pigs as animals. She doesn't like them as food. So that's
so right along those lines. My final question to you, sir, and this is my favorite question. And we had a very heated debate in my household tonight. And this is a very heated debate around here. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Please explain.
I disagree.
Exactly. And here we go.
Was that Mrs. Juddy?
No,
it's Mrs. Podcast Juddy.
It's a proxy. We will accept it as a proxy. Please move forward with the answer.
So Mrs. Podcast Juddy is speaking on behalf of Mrs. Juddy, who also agrees that it is not a sandwich. Now, Mrs. Juddy has this weird thing where she believes in weird bread. Okay, like you can't put like a hamburger bun and make like a tuna sandwich with it because that's weird bread. Okay, I don't really understand this shit. All right.
Did she not grow up poor? Did she not grow up
She
poor?
obviously didn't grow up poor.
Like I don't know what to tell you here. But all I can say is like we were talking about it. I'm looking at my 6-year-old and I'm like, hey, is there a piece of meat surrounded by bread? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, so is it a sandwich? He's like, I guess essentially yes. And I was like, thank you. And
According to a 6-year-old.
apparently that was the wrong thing to teach my kid.
Apparently.
Okay, if you here's some extra info that can help you in your battle. Grab a box of Hot Pockets or even a picture of them from the internet. It says they are a sandwich. It does say sandwich on the package. If a Hot Pocket can be a sandwich, so can a hot dog.
Hot Pocket is not a sandwich.
Thank you, Lily. Go on.
But it says so on the box.
I don't give a fuck what it says on the box. It's not a fucking sandwich. It's a frozen calzone. There's a difference.
Oh my God, she might be onto something there.
I love calzones. They're my favorite.
It is kind of a frozen calzone, yeah, because like I've gone to Subway many times and that's not how it's like packaged.
Mm. Now, if you had separated the bread for the hot dog, then it would be a sandwich. But the bread is contained as one piece.
I'm gonna have to have Subway for dinner now, like you realize, or Postmates or something.
This conversation, I just had to mute my microphone because this conversation has gotten wifey all riled the fuck up. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I'll rile your wifey up.
This is Juddy, and I'm gonna rile up with my tongue in just a second.
No, she's like, if you just separated the hot dog bun into 2 different bun pieces, then it would be a fucking sandwich. And I'm like, no, that's weird fucking bread.
No,
It's held on a hinge. It's just a hinge.
It's rolled up.
sandwich doesn't have a hinge.
Hold up in my hand like the sausage
hinge.
only.
Listen, just like think about
It's like an open-faced sandwich. It's just fucking toast.
An
Right,
open-faced sandwich is a pussy.
So when you're given a hand job, you're wrapping a hand. You're giving it a hand sandwich is what you're doing.
If
It's
you
the
would
same.
like me to put one hand on the top and one hand on the bottom and fold your dick like a sandwich, like I don't think that would be nearly as pleasurable.
Why fold? Just like this.
I think it's more of like a frontwards, backwards.
It's so weird.
It's weird, right? Weird bread, right? Exactly. Weird bread. We're back to weird bread again.
See, Lily and I have the same idea. It's like grab balls and like choke on the cock at the same
I mean,
The Lily never forgets about the balls. Anytime she does a blowjob gesture, she's always grabbing the low
tickle the balls every single time. If you don't tickle the balls, you're not doing it right.
It's guitar. It's like a guitar method.
And just so you know, you can always tickle the balls just enough to get a finger in. Just saying.
That's true. And it
Jesus Christ.
surprises
Sure, it's
them when they
consensual.
come in your mouth and it's delicious.
If you're gonna put a finger in, make sure it's consensual.
Well,
It's still if you do it without asking, it's rape.
That is true. Everything
Okay.
needs to be consensual.
So
But-
Yeah.
I disagree unless there's like a pre-sexual nuptial.
So we're all on the same page here. So I know I can. This was a tweet that I sent back when you could send funny tweets. Those were funny, and I mean real fun. So we're talking, consensual. So is gay rape called grape?
Oh no, that's grapeseed oil.
I'm just saying. Like I sent that tweet 1,000 years ago, back when you could send those kind of tweets because
I
they were
remember
fucking
that
funny.
tweet.
Right?
I
They were
remember
funny
that.
back
Grapeseed
then.
oil also counts.
You used to be funny,
It's
Judy.
Greek. It's
Yes,
Greek.
yeah. Fuck you, Harbinger.
Grape
God damn it.
oil.
God damn it. Damn it. But like you could
Wikipedia
send
says
those
it's
tweets
so.
back. You really could send those tweets back then because they were everyone knew you were joking and it was a joke. And the whole point was like, well, is that funny or not? Like, and I got so many ha ha ha, like all capitals from lesbians and everybody else who all understood that was a goddamn fucking joke. And they for swingers and gay LBGQ question marks, Niners, whatever. everybody.
TQI plus. Bitch.
No, more than that. Beyond, it was just like the point is it was a funny fucking thing to say. And it was hilarious. If I were to now dig that up from whatever 2013 or whatever the fuck it was, and just retweet it from myself, I would be like canceled or some shit. Now,
I think you should be
And-
canceled
Cancel
anyway.
Teddy.
well, I mean, that's what my wife's been saying since
Right,
the moment I got
Lily?
Twitter.
I agree with your wife.
Lily came up with that.
I love your wife more than I love you, but I've never met her.
And my
All
wife just said,
right.
obviously.
Well, let's thank our special guest, Jim Watts of Vagabond Saints.
Wait. No.
Hold on.
No.
Jim's not done yet.
Jim's not done.
See,
Jim, come in my mouth
was
really
talk-
quickly.
there was talk of titties and porn that was going to be discussed.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I was
Here.
just
All
about to
right,
say,
Right.
wait.
It would
I
not
thought
be
people were-
a Jim Watts conversation without the conversation about titties and
I was-
porn.
I
But
was
can
going
I
to say,
What's your
say-
favorite titties?
wait.
how
I
important it is to
lied.
make sure we don't go 4 hours.
Correct. I lied. I lied when I said, is a hot dog a sandwich the last question? Because really, my last question is, Jim, are you a titties, legs, or ass man? And then please explain.
Vagina man.
Ooh.
He's a vagina man.
I'm a vagina
The
man.
man.
But I'm not really like, I can look at a set of tits and be like, wow, those are really nice tits. But then again, if like an old lady was in the store and one of her titties fell out, I'd be like, damn, there's a titty. Like, I'm not prejudiced against titties. I like little titties. I like big titties. I'll look at an old titty. It's just they're there. Like, and you're gonna get demonetized.
We were never monetized
hope
to
fucking
begin
so.
with.
Hi, Maggie.
But-
Okay, that's my
But
boss.
also, as I've gotten older, I have found an appreciation of looking at butts too. And like, I'll be at the shop just staring out the window, watching people walk by, and I'll be like, "Well, that old lady's got a weird butt. That's a nice butt in those track pants." You know, I will just look at these ladies' butts, and not in an objectionable fashion. I'm an artist. I draw women, and I'm just like, "Yeah, those are titties. Those are bums. Legs. You know, same thing. It's not. I just know that my main goal is vagina or girl mouth. That's what I'm in it for. The other things are just kind of bonus features. Yeah, I can drive,
Bonus features.
I can drive an El Camino SS, and it's going to be the best ass car ever. But if I've got automatic windows and, a really nice stereo, I'm kidding. I drive a 2020 Golf, and
I was going
like
to say,
the car for
I'm
what it is.
I'm picturing you driving a Lambo right now, and it's awesome in my head, by the way.
Like the hair, like shh,
Yeah, seriously, I got the Golf, and
bonus
the
features.
first time I ever drove one, I was like, this car fits me. Like, we just became symbiotic. And then finding out if I plug my phone in to the USB jack, my radio turns into like this whole multimedia center where I can text people by talking. I can scroll screens. I can look at a map while my music's playing. And that's what the titties and the ass and the legs are in the car world to me, are the automatic windows, the heated seats, and this infotainment center. But really, I'm just in it for the mouth and the vagina. Like, really, and the heart too, because I can't fuck people I don't like.
Well, when it comes to the vagina, do you dive face first in it?
You
No,
better.
I take the scenic route. First, I
Nice.
tiptoe around. I
The
tiptoe
scenic
around,
route is
you
what
know?
it makes a woman come in less than 8 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, you don't just fucking just dive in. You got to walk around the territory. Feel things out.
It's a property. You have
hook
to
the G,
inspect her.
hook the G a little bit. If you can hit the G spot and get things going, like really prime the engine, you don't have to do that much FaceTime.
This is
You
true.
know? Especially if your partner is somebody who smokes weed or drinks, it takes a lot longer, and you're gonna get fucking lockjaw. But
What?
the
I am
clitor-
under 8 minutes.
the clitoris and the G spot are somehow connected, and if you can get them off with a G spot, then you go to the clit, you're good. Everybody's happy. There might be some squirting. Who knows? It's an adventure to find out. But you just don't
Hopefully there
go
is.
face first. But if you
Hopefully.
take the time, survey the land, walk around with your hands behind your back, and just take in all the nature that's there before you
Now,
plant
wait,
your
wait.
house. you're good to
Listen,
go.
it's a marathon, not a sprint. Okay.
True.
Well, hang on. As
For
a married
men
man,
too.
as a married man, sometimes your wife just needs the release. So do you know, and I imagine you do, how to, in those moments where your wife just needs something, are you able to just deliver the something? Because sometimes there's just
Absolutely.
she needs to get it out of her.
Yeah. Because I know the territory in the
Exactly.
Southwest.
Exactly.
You've explored. You've mapped it out.
Wait, Tanya, do I have permission to talk about how I get you off? They're talking about, like, do you just go face first into the situation? Do I have your consent? Okay. So
I love her so
February.
much.
Okay, Lily, you're gonna love this story because you're a part of it.
Of course.
It was Valentine's Day. Remember?
I remember this. I remember this. Okay, I'm drunk enough. Tell the story. You have my consent.
Okay. So we're FaceTiming with Lily on FaceTime on Valentine's Day, and this is it's more than 6 years ago. Shit. And
God, it was that long ago.
so we thought Tanya was really high. I don't drink or smoke or do weed or anything. So Tanya started getting all kinds of frisky and shit. So I thought it'd be funny just to turn the camera around and let Lily watch what was going down. Well, who was going down? And that was the night that I made Tanya squirt for the first time. And since then, doing anything with the G-spot, it automatically happens. So
Saw it in real time.
It's a quickie.
That is all about Lily right
Dude,
there.
Lily, she
That's the
fucking
kind of
cried
power
after
this
that
woman
with
holds,
joy.
you guys.
With joy? That's awesome.
She was like, "Oh my god, it finally happened!" And like shuddering from post-orgasmic quakes.
Oh my god. We both start laughing at the same time. This is why we're in the same position in the fucking thing.
And the look on Lily's face at the time was just as priceless as 2 minutes ago when I was asking for
It was exciting. Like, oh, that happened.
and now all the internet knows Lily saw my ding dong.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed.
Who else has
Yeah,
questions for Jim before we run this into like a 6-hour
I'm still
thing?
talking
Because
about
it's
the clip,
obviously
baby.
gonna happen.
We even got to titties.
Tell about the G-spot. So yeah, I am fortunate that a 2-finger shuffle with Tanya, it happens in under a minute. So if she was just like, I need something now, it's dude, finding that button when I was a kid, best thing ever. Well, by kid I mean under the age of 20.
But like you said,
When I was 5,
like you said, as a there's a lot of elements of happily married, existence that we've brought up subtly here. Where it's communication. Wait a minute. You didn't talk about whether you want to have kids or not before you got married. Perhaps you should fucking do that. Okay. It might decide whether you sustain this marriage or not. And then another thing
about their sexuality and identity. But if they are bisexual and hiding
my daughter is gay.
Yeah, swingers, gays, whatever. It doesn't matter, right? Like, and also that shit evolves over time, right? And then the other piece is, like you said, knowing your territory, right? Like, your territory. So okay, like, if you just need to, just like, hey guys out there, hate to break it to you. Just like how you just need a fucking blowjob sometimes, guess what? She needs the same fucking thing sometimes. So if you can't, she's gonna do that, and she could be anybody because you're a guy, right? But you, as the husband, are responsible for a deeper level of connection. And if you have
I have a secret to an 8 minutes or less female or oral orgasm. If you guys want to know what that is. You're both gonna be like, I already know how to do it in 4 minutes. 8 minutes is some fucking amateur bullshit.
That shit needs to be a volcano, and the timer is on. Go.
You lick the thighs up until you get to the actual like labia, the external, and then you lick the external labia, and then when you get to the feet like internal labia, then you just like go for it for a while, and like you don't stop, but like you use your fingers, and then like within 8 minutes she'll come.
Did I just hear labia? Did you just like
Let-
Tarjay that shit?
Yeah.
Jim,
Labia.
if you haven't had the time where the moments where your wife wakes up, goes to take a shower, comes out of the shower and says, "Look at all these fucking bruises all over me," and it's on her inner thighs and everything, and you're like, not sorry.
Boom.
You know,
Tanya bruises easily, and our one dog Hoagie sleeps in the bed, and he walks all over her, so she does end up with bruises all over.
awesome, dude. You could totally stake claim.
I gotta show you guys something real quick.
Oh,
Yes.
please show me everything.
No shenanigans. Bad Eve.
I love
It's a bad-
shenanigans. Stop with
that's
the
a bad
Starship,
Eve.
the fucking Troopers episode awesomeness.
Okay,
Puppy!
you can never be sad. Look at his eyebrows. I gave him
Oh,
eyebrows.
it's so cute.
You can't be sad when your dog has eyebrows, buddy.
Look at my dog's eyebrows.
But I drew these on him today.
You
There
drew
you go, bud.
donkey eyebrow.
Every time I look at
Eyebrow
him,
game.
I can't help but laugh. Be in a bad mood when your dog has drawn-on eyebrows.
You cannot. You cannot.
They are.
I love it.
It's Crayola washable. It is washable, non-toxic. I didn't just like use something bad
I
on
think
Good, Jim.
everything is toxic. Well, let's thank our special guest, Jim Watts of Vagabond Saints. Visit their website to learn more at www.vagabondsaints.com and follow Vagabond Saints on Facebook, which is a new website that no one's heard of yet. There's also
Like
this
Labia.
thing called like Facebook, IG, and Twitter at Vagabond Saints. Lily.
Yes, you can follow me at all the places at Harbinger with 2 R's at the end. So it's 3 R's in total. If you choose, there's nothing really there. But if you go to shadyharbinger.com and purchase any of the items, 50%
Wait,
of all
it's
proceeds.
3 R's?
It's 3 R's.
Yeah, like
Harbinger.
I am like the most ridiculous person. I thought it was 2 hour. 2 hours.
It's 2 R's at the end, and then there's an R in the middle.
Oh, that's because I
Harbinger.
keep like coming before I realize how many R's there are. Because I'm like, ah,
I know reading's hard. So
it is.
I know it is because for everyone, make sure you pronounce it Harbinger, please.
and it's
No, it's
I am
Harbinger.
Judy. I am
And I am
Judy. I know there's
Judy.
2 D's there, but it's Judy. I am
Listen,
Judy.
there's 2 D's right here because I'm amazing. All right.
Lily.
I got
Lily.
2 D's right here.
Yes.
If I start pronouncing it Harbinger, it's just gonna make me think about hitting dingers off the bat and giving.
There you go.
Oh my God! Hit a dinger!
Top
Hit a
shelf.
dinger, get a cooler, bud.
Hit a dinger, get a cooler, bud. All right, that's an inside joke.
We'll
No,
stay
it's
there
not
for tonight.
anymore. Now it's an outside
Yeah.
joke, like above the clothes joke.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, 50% of all sales from Shady Harbinger merch goes to Planned Parenthood. There's also a link to donate directly to Planned Parenthood on this site. Hit a
Everything
dinger.
you ever buy from me goes 100% to me because I'm not as nice as Harbinger is.
I'm a big, big, big proponent of Planned Parenthood in all its gloriousness.
I have a big 8-inch dick that applies to a leather tourniquet. So
So I have no outro other than I hope everyone fucks themselves, and honestly, just follow Vagabond Saints. That's the only thing you need to do. Like it's well
For
worth
any
it. So
reason.
just do it. Just do it.
Absolutely.
and you
Not
know
only
what?
do they do awesome art and they employ women, lots of women, except for Birdo, but maybe he's a woman, who knows? And shop daddy. So women centric, and they do much, much, much good for the community of Hamilton,
All
Ontario.
inclusive.
All inclusive, 100%.
All-inclusive.
The most
We're
all
queer-friendly.
inclusive tattoo shop I have ever been in, and I've been in a lot of fucking tattoo shops in my
Yes,
life.
you have. So,
Oh, and
Vagabond,
one parting thought before we leave.
please do.
Tanya and I know people have been wanting to know this. Tanya and I have never had sex in our shop ever
What?
COVID.
because we're around each we're around each other all the time. And when you're married, it's not just like we've been married almost 10 years now. So it's
There you go.
why
A
sully
dingo ate
the
your
place
baby.
where we work. Yeah, we don't fuck in the shop. It's just the mood's not there because we work there and we
Uh-huh.
put so much time in there that we don't want to be. I'd rather fuck in my bed.
Plus
I don't want to go to my
cleanliness.
tattoo chair.
You have
I'd
a lot of
rather
fuck in your
plasma
bed
blood
too,
apparently
Jim.
flying everywhere. So
Do you have
know.
like an
And we've got
Airbnb
cameras.
situation where we can all like fuck in your bed? Is that happening?
I don't sex shame.
You might want to offer your bed as an Airbnb because like I think I would pay an extra $50 just to fuck in the bed that you fuck your wife in.
Okay.
Hey,
You don't have to
listen,
pay
that's
extra for
Jim,
that.
That's your side business. Listen, we all got a side gig. All right. There
I'm
you go.
trying to get OnlyFans girls to come to my shop and do their videos there. Like
There you go.
I have a leather couch. I've got a leather couch and leather chairs.
Is it lime green?
I can
Is it lime green?
No. It's tufted black leather that I bought for way too much money from another tattoo shop.
Ooh,
Well,
tufted
fancy.
black
Now
leather.
now you're bringing the high class girls to you. Hey,
God
hey.
damn. No,
Hey.
Lily already she just responded. I'm like just shopping, but she just RSVP'd for that.
That's an easy way to get Eve under that 8 minutes right there.
It is. And
Oh, yeah.
especially since my tax return's coming up, I might be able to afford it.
Yeah, whenever COVID lifts, I'll do some OnlyFans foot pics on the couch.
Look, I still have
You're
Jim.
more than welcome.
Jim, I still have my little doom tattoo that I have to make into the pixie cut,
Yeah.
optimistic. And I wanted to just dedicate this episode to Joe and to Optimistic Doom and to also Jim and everything that you've done for the Twitter community. And I know that Joe is with us, and I love you guys all so much, and thank you so much for sharing this ridiculous night with me with now my fifth bottle of whatever the fuck I'm drinking right now.
Cheers, Jim. Cheers, Jim.
And cheers to
Absolutely.
you, Jetty. Hey, do I get to be a permanent part now? Have I passed the initiation?
Fuck yeah.
Well, there's
I do
always
qualify
room.
as friends. I do qualify as friends.
There's always room. I am not opposed to it.
Neither am I.
I'll definitely
I
pop in
moved
more.
to include Vagabond Saints more often in the podcast.
Absolutely.
Hey, Tanya, you still have your makeup on. All right, never mind.
Tell Tanya I said hi and end her 8 minutes.
She won't come on camera because she did a video earlier for her YouTube channel, so she had her whole pink eyeliner and shit on, but she doesn't have it on now.
Pink eye.
So she won't come on camera.
Camera.
Pink eye because I farted on her pillow.
What kind of
Oh,
asshole?
you like
What
chocolate.
what kind of asshole doesn't come on camera for this shit? I mean, what the fuck?
Something that
That would be my
sycophant
wife.
would have an asshole.
Oh,
I don't know,
fuck's sake.
Judy. Who?
Fuck sycophant. Fuck
Who,
him.
Judy?
I love sycophant. I love all of you.
And the hard part about talking to Judy on here is I just keep expecting I like French fries.
Fuck you, Harbinger.
Everyone is calling him Judy now.
Jody, do it.
Fuck. I reckon that's right. Fuck.
I need
Fuck.
some mustard on that.
Yeah, you. Tell you what, I'll
I've
tell
got
you what
your
you can do with
mustard
your
right
fucking
here.
biscuits. All right.
I
Fuck
got
you
the
and your
furry
fucking-
arms right here for you, my friend.
All right, we've been outroing for like 10 minutes now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everybody,
Thank
for
you,
tuning
everybody.
in live.
Everyone go fuck themselves. I love you.
Save the sloths, bitches.
Fucking
Yes.
save
Now
yourself.
watch
God,
for the outro.
You know, you